Hey there! My name is Chris Hagedon, and welcome to my podcast, Like Lightning, where I read my original, fictional stories that you have time for. This episode is the third and final part of my short story, The Parasitical Being. So, if you haven't already, please go back and listen to parts 1 and 2. Without further ado, let's get started. End of part 2. Run, she shouted above the sound, which was turning from tearing to screeching in only a matter of seconds. Where, I shouted, unable to keep the overwhelming fear that was invoked by this horrible, revolting sound. I had no time to think. I only had time to run. Doesn't matter, she cried. Just run as fast as you can away from that sound. It's the shadow breaking into this void to send you off to a place much worse than this. To a true void where you can feel nothing. But first, she said, hurriedly, I must deliver my message. The message is, you can choose your thoughts. But this can only be accomplished if you're willing to recognize that this will be difficult. Recognize how to fight your negative thoughts while you run. Only then can you escape. Now run. What about you? I asked, shocked, my terror forming quickly. I should be able to return easily, the girl said hurriedly. Goodbye, thank you, I said, preparing to run, feeling perplexed, disturbed, and filled with dread. Once I began running, I wondered whether I would meet the girl again. I hoped I would. Based on what she said, I made sure not to worry about whether she thought I was weird and lanky. She was right. It was not easy. I had never tried to resist my worrisome thoughts. It felt uncomfortable, unnatural even. As I ran, I saw that the girl was gone, and not far off was the shadow, the being that fed off my thoughts. Like a leech, I thought with horror. Then I saw the sky, if one could dare to call it that, turn from white to pitch black in an instant. I started to lose my connection to this reality. I could no longer feel my arms. I tried to recall exactly what the girl had said, but I remembered only the gist of it. I could choose my thoughts, and doing that would be hard. The idea was fascinating. This new idea slipped into my head. My mind seemed to waver, not knowing how to handle such a drastic change. This thought was the only thing that kept my mind from growing hazy. I began to feel the rest of my body become one with the darkness that overwhelmed my vision. I could hardly run, and I couldn't see. I felt horror. The shadow was gaining ground fast. The parasite loomed nearer. I didn't have to look. I could feel the unadulterated dread, panic, and confusion. It was overpowering. Except, I had a defense. I didn't have to let it get to me. I took a deep breath and let my worry dissolve. It could return, but as long as I continued to fight it, I felt sure I could train my mind to not even worry about what other people thought of me. It would be extremely difficult, and it would take a great deal of time. But with persistence, I felt I could do it. Not alone, of course. Why? Wasn't it someone else who had told me the way to escape this horrible place? Without the encouragement, I didn't know if I could do it. But I believed for the moment I could escape. The shadow was now directly behind me, hovering towards me at an unimaginable speed. Though it was only a mingled shadow, without expressions and without true substance, I could feel its hatred towards me. It knew I had the secret that could destroy it. I stumbled, face first into the ground, losing my ability to run, feeling no pain besides the pain that comes with resisting the comfort of giving up. I knew the shadow would reach me before I could resume running. This was the end, I thought with horror. At once, with one final burst of hope, the shadow vanished. I vanished. All vanished. And I awoke. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode and this series. I hope you were able to enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you want another great podcast to listen to, check out Krista Bauman's podcast called Life in Bloom. Anyway, this podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and many other platforms. To leave feedback or to ask a question, please go to anchor.fm/Chris-Hagedon/message. The link is provided in the episode description. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and tune in for a new story this upcoming Monday.